Hello everyone, good evening, and welcome to Edgerunners HQ and our Cyberpunk RED talk show, Night City Sofa. I am your host, Jesper, alongside my co-host, Games and...
I almost got host status. Hi, I'm Games Ed, and I am a proto-host.
You could be a host. I'm host Jesper alongside host Games. Like, that's fine.
No, I'm co-host.
Full host.
Less responsibility.
Well, there you go. During tonight's episode of Night City Sofa, we are going to be discussing the first 3 missions in the official Cyberpunk RED mission book, Tales of the Red Street Stories. The missions are A Night at the Opera, Agents of Desire, a bucket full of popcorn-flavored kibble. I don't remember if it was agent or agents, not that it was a huge difference, but that's where my brain stalled. There is, yep. You can get your copy of Tales of the Red Street Stories at Talsorianstore.com. Remember to use code EHQ, as in Edgerunners HQ, to receive an additional 10% off your order. As a final note, the episode will be spoiler heavy, so if you haven't played the missions, you're not running the missions as either GM or via single player mode, this episode likely isn't for you. But if you're not planning on running them, or you are going to run them as single player mode or just because you're interested in lore and everything else, please stay. Please stay.
Or you like spoilers.
Yeah. Okay. So, Tales of the Red Street Stories includes 9 missions from a variety of writers, including Fran Stewart, Jay Parker, Melissa Wong, Mike Pondsmith, Monica Valentinelli, and Trace Wilson. James's intro at the start of the book does state the missions are in the order that they would run them. You do not have to play them in that order. That is just the order he would have put them in if he was running all of them, one after the other. I don't think I would, but we will get to that. Also, be sure to pick up Tales of the Red Street Stories Plus, which is a free DLC. Games will put that link in chat as thing DLC. So you're going to look for Street Stories Plus. It includes a little bit more information, a few more stat blocks. There are scream sheets for 4 of the missions, and it has much larger and gridded maps for some missions for combat stuff. So it's completely free. Go and download that as well. We will get started with A Night at the Opera. I personally would give this mission a trigger warning for horror, gore, torture, just to be aware. It's real campy at the beginning and then goes real dark real fast. So make sure your players are comfortable with that.
To be fair, Dark Future
should
always be considered in all of these.
Absolutely.
But I can see why you said that about this one.
Mm-hmm. We'll get there.
Uh-huh.
Especially because the next 2 I think that we're going to talk about are not Dark Future at all. Not compared to this one.
Well, yeah.
So just kind of make sure your players, make sure you know your players' lines of veils. Make sure you as a player have talked to your GM about your lines of veils, what you're comfortable with, what you're not comfortable with. Tailor as necessary to your table. Okay. Feel free, by the way, games, to interrupt me at any time during this. I will try not to talk fast. I do that a lot, but I'm going to do my best not to do that. Chat, if you have any questions as we go, please ask. Alright, so A Night at the Opera. The mission seems simple. The daughter of Rockland Augmentic's executive engineer, George Reinmeyer, has been kidnapped. The crew is contacted by Mr. Reinmeyer's representative. He's going to hire them for 2,000 ebb each to find the girl, whatever state she may be in. Now, this mission is centered in the University District, but things aren't as clear as they appear. The kidnapper is a cyber psycho named Lord Ruthven, a former member of the Philharmonic Vampires who believes he is a true vampire. His goal is to get the perfect bride, In his case, he believes that's Barbara Dahl, the nightly news anchor of Network 54. The current leader of the Philharmonic Vampires, known simply as the Master, is unable to kill Lord Ruthven without outside help, and so he's pretending to be Mr. Ryan Meyer's representative. He's the one who hires the crew to flatline the cyber psycho without alerting the NCPD or the general public about their connection. He doesn't want anybody to know that the cyber psycho used to be a member of the Philharmonic Vampires. And so he's concocted this beautiful, intricate plot to hire you guys so no one will connect dots. Now, during the mission, the crew will encounter 2 of Lord Ruthven's lieutenants, a horde of bozos and Inquisitor mooks, and Lord Ruthven himself. Additionally, the crew may go up against some Philharmonic vampires if they choose to attack the gang. They are not they're statted. I will say all enemies are statted. You're not supposed to fight them. But players be players.
No, there's not a good reason to.
But players be players. So if they choose to make it more difficult for them, that is a choice they can make. As the hook that you're given for this mission, 7 women have vanished from the University District in the past 4 weeks. So that's 2 people going missing a week. Campus security and
Which is too many.
Yeah, way too many. Campus security and NCPD are trying to investigate, but they're overwhelmed. Or NCPD are overwhelmed dealing with the spikes in gang activity in the district, as well as the South Night City border, because University District does touch the South Night City border. Now, a week ago, Mr. Ryan Meyer started bankrolling the NCPD investigation, bribing them to change their police priorities to search for his daughter. So yes, money can buy you power and influence. And if you think the NCPD were good guys who didn't take bribes, you're wrong. See how it works? Now, contacts at Campus Security don't have much for leads. They suspect it's the Philharmonic Vampires just due to the disappearances happening on their turf and fitting their behavior. The NCPD won't openly walk into a gang's gathering without causing major problems, so they've just been like, oh, well, that's outside our authority. Essentially, it's not really going anywhere. And this is where the crew comes in. As pawns in the Master's scheme to deal with the problem discreetly, he sends them on their first task to gain access to one of the Philharmonic Vampires' parties and investigate. So when your crew heads down to Philharmonic Vampire Turf, which is around Night City, the University District, the crew will know several posters, one near a bus stop, that reads, "Come to a night at the opera with the Philharmonic Vampires." Yes, title, right there. An event that is taking place the following night. At the bottom of the poster is a link to purchase tickets, and at the bus stop, there are a handful of students that the crew can talk to in order to gain some information. Most of which is very vague, details on what to expect of the show, which is mostly that it's more of an orgy and a party than an actual theatrical performance, and that the kidnappings are not in the style of Philharmonic Vampires, like that's not what they do. So with the show happening the following night, the crew has plenty of time to prepare their wardrobe. There is a dress code. It never says what happens if you don't show up in dress code. It just says there is a dress code, so GMs, consider that.
Discretion, yeah.
Yeah. They can buy tickets and maybe plan what to do once they're inside. Essentially, they have some free time until the event tomorrow night. At the time of the event, a vampire walks out. It should be very overly dramatic. He walks out, he welcomes everybody. A different vamp scans tickets with his cyber optics. And if the crew watches, they'll notice that none of the patrons are being checked for weapons. It's just, do you have a legit ticket? Go inside. Welcome to the show. Once inside, they can take a seat and enjoy the show, which it says is pretty much just vampires throwing fake blood at each other in the audience. It's overly dramatic, overly theatrical, absolutely just, I feel like it should be like Army of Darkness level horror.
Okay, yeah.
Where it's kind of campy and fun, right? they're trying to do gothic theater, but it's more campy and lighthearted. Until
So it's like drag queens doing gothic theater.
maybe. And then all of a sudden there are gunshots from backstage. And when people realize that that's not part of the show, they start to stampede out. And the crew is pitted in a fight against the two lieutenants, which are the clown and the monk. Now, the crew are not alone. At the start of combat, as many Philharmonic vampires that are equal to the crew will draw their weapons and will help fight the clown and the monk. If the crew attacks the Philharmonic vampires, they will defend themselves. Note, they do not need to attack the Philharmonic vampires. The Philharmonic vampires will not attack the crew. They will only attack the clown and the monk. Now, neither the clown or the monk are planning on dying here. So if combat lasts more than 3 rounds, if either of them suffer critical injury, if either reaches seriously wounded, which is half HP, they will start running away. And their goal is to get out. If for some reason they can't, they will detonate an armor-piercing grenade on themselves and take themselves out of the story. There will be no questioning of these guys, but their goal is to get out. Now once combat ends, the lights go out, and then of course everything goes black, and then a dozen red eyes appear. There's holographic smoke, and a figure that looks exactly like horror legend Bela Lugosi appears. And says, I need time to think, this was, too much for me, please leave and we'll talk later. Should be overacting all the time. Once they're outside, they'll notice the streets are completely empty. Security has left. Audience is left. No one is around. So the crew can leave and they can take as much time as they need to heal. When they are healed and they are ready, the next beat takes place. The crew gets a text message from Mr. Reimer's representative, sending them to a food truck at the university, where they're supposed to order a specific meal, wear a green hat. Whether or not they wear the green hat is irrelevant as long as they order the meal. They will be approached by twice as many crew members as Philharmonic vampires who are not there to fight. A vampire named Renfield will give them an invitation to come and meet the master at the Symphony Hall at midnight. And then they'll disappear. If at any point they are attacked, they will drop smoke bombs and run away and leave the invitation on the ground. They are not here to fight the crew. Stress. At this time too, if the crew's kind of wandering around, and they're fairly easily noticed. I think it was a DV13 perception to notice the Philharmonic vampires. But it's also packed with students, and they can pick up on some gossip if they want, or talk to them and see what's going on. And apart from the normal gossip kind of that they picked up at the bus station, they get a little bit more people complaining that the, I think psychology professor, Professor Hunfer, hasn't been returning any of the midterm papers and hasn't been attending office hours. That's kind of the big rumor going around the school right now. Which can lead to a side quest if the players want. It is completely optional. If they miss out, does not affect the story whatsoever. So the next big story beat is their meeting with the master. When they do, it's at the opera house, right? The Symphony Hall. He explains who Lord Ruthven is, that he is a cyber psycho, that this was their connection. He stresses his gang they're not murderers, they're not monsters, they're artists, they're romantics. This dude has gone off the rails and please take care of him. They will, and if you do so, he guarantees that the Philharmonic vampires will not retaliate in any way, shape, or form. Just go please kill the guy. They will give you his location. And they will give the crew a wooden stake to ensure 100%. The death is done right. If the crew kills him correctly, they'll earn a favor from the Philharmonic vampires. So from here, it's on to Lord Ruthven's base of operations at the Union Chapel just across the border in South Night City. And up until this point, apart from the fight, things have been lax. Theatrical, overly dramatically horror. But from here on out, the tone shift is like 180. as soon as the crew steps onto Lord Ruthven's territory, things are going to get very, very dark. It should be a shift from like Army of Darkness to Hannibal or Silence of the Lambs. Now the chapel itself has only one entrance, the rest have been caved in on purpose. And it will be guarded depending on how the fight at the Opera House went. If both the clown and the monk escaped, they will be there as the first fight with as many mooks as there are equal to the crew, -2. So if you have a crew of 4, there will be 2 mooks with these 2 lieutenants. It'll be a 50-50 split, so there will be the clown and a bozo mook, there will be the monk and an inquisitor mook. If only the clown survived, it'll just be bozo mooks. If only the monk survived, it'll just be inquisitor mooks. They do have different gear and different armor, so it does kind of depend. I feel like when I looked at it, one of them is significantly easier than the other.
Right.
Or it's just a different way of going into combat, right? If somehow your crew managed to take them both out at the Symphony Hall, the entrance is completely unguarded. But once you're inside, it's a very horrific horror scene, including bodies and heads and blood and a whole bunch of extra stuff. And then stairs that lead downstairs. So there's nothing on the first floor other than this very graphic, very horror scene. Downstairs, the opposition that they have to face are 2 automatic turrets with fairly, I'm going to say, decent net architecture, especially compared to the one we just read for the mercenary mission. There's like 2 ravens and a hellhound plus the turret on both, and they have their individual net architecture, so you can't go into one and shut them both down. You have to go into them individually or defeat them some other way. And once the turrets are dealt with, as soon as they are dealt with, Lord Ruthven appears from behind a tapestry at the back of the room very clearly. You can, let the players see him come out from behind the tapestry. He doesn't waste any time. He utters a sentence, and then he attacks, and it is a fight to the death. Now, once the crew succeeds in killing him, they can search behind the tapestry, where they will find an oversized medical pod with a bunch of naked women crammed inside. Each has been biosculpted to look like Barbara Dahl, the Network 54 news anchor. Only one is alive, barely conscious, completely terrified, and that is Lucy Reinmar. So once your crew, give them some RP to just, make that introduction, but once she confirms that that's who she is, she faints. And we get to go to the resolution, which, clarifies up all the bodies, the crew gets paid. If they remembered to stake Lord Ruthven through the heart or did something equally dramatic like decapitate him, they earn a favor from the Philharmonic Vampires. Otherwise, the mission is complete and they get their 2,000 ebb apiece. Now, the optional mission is if they picked up on that psychology professor being absent and went to go investigate and managed to break into his office, they'll learn a few things. First, they'll see a photo of Barbara Dahl on the desk with a lipstick kiss on the frame. There's a clown in Inquisitor uniform hidden in the back of a wardrobe. And most concerning, in a locked mini fridge next to a bottle of genuine vodka that they can sell for 500 up, is a preserved human head of Barbara's late husband, which the crew can return, and if they agree to keep it quiet, because it was apparently her husband's grave had been robbed a few weeks ago. If they agree to keep quiet and don't, leak the story to anybody, Barbara will owe the crew a favor. And having a media owe you a favor is no small feat. So by the end of this, if they've done everything, 2,000 apiece, plus 500 that they can split, and 2 favors. One from a gang leader, and one from a news anchor. And that is the mission, A Night at the Opera.
Chat was making me laugh, I apologize.
It's all good. Forever Beacons. Head bonding. Now, some things I noticed if you're running this, they never noticed how much, the cost of the tickets to the Night of the Opera show would be.
That's all right.
But something that you're probably going to want to charge your edge runners for, I would say make it fairly, like, I think cheap is 5 ebb. That's probably fine. You could, and if they're going to try to fill an opera house, you know, I feel like that would be sufficient. I wouldn't go over 20 ebb a ticket if it was me. Also, the location, because you do get a map of the Symphony Hall. And if the edge runner's like, oh, we're going to sit at the back, that's going to be a problem, because once the stampede of people try to leave goes on, it's going to take them that much farther to get to the stage where the battle takes place. So when they buy the tickets, just as a note, as a GM, the only tickets available are in the front section, on the ground floor.
Middle forward.
Yeah, middle center. Front center. So that way, when the fighting takes place, they either deal with the fighting, the lieutenants on stage right in front of them, because there's a whole swarm of people trying to get out behind them. Like, it forces them into that conflict without adding the obstacle of try not to get stampeded. There are biographies at the back of the book, at the very, very end, if you need some more detailed information on any of the characters or the gang, in case your crew decides to do some library search. One of the issues I have is when they enter the Symphony Hall, because it's like, they don't check for weapons. I know crew who have walked in, not with concealed weapons, because my character genuinely has like 7 to 9 weapons on her, but they're all concealable. Maybe apart from one. I know characters who have walked in with like a sniper rifle, an assault rifle, 5 grenades on their belts, and I'm like, would they just let you walk in like that?
I assume I'm allowed to walk into most places my character is with his katanas because it's part of the outfit. I match them to the outfit and have the lights synchronized and everything. I think it's presentation.
No, I feel like a katana is fine because you're because it's like kind of bordering South Night City, right? People wear weapons, they defend themselves. You're probably fine. It's when you're packing like a grenade launcher or a rocket launcher that's clearly visible that I'd be like,
right.
I don't know.
I think that's like, if you have grenades, I might be like, all right, leave them here.
Co-check them. Just say that they will co-check them and you can pick them up on the way out. Absolutely guaranteed. But that was kind of a GM problem. I was like, what happens when? Also, because the tone shift from Army of Darkness and it's kind of campy and overdramatic and there's smoke and there's the person who talks like this, to something that is very serious and very horrific. As a GM and a player, especially for players, try to adjust your tone accordingly. I know we use humor a lot, even to cover up when we're scared and whatnot, but if everybody's joking about this horrific scene, it really takes away from the gravitas of the scene that your GM has probably put, hopefully, a lot of effort into. So make your jokes, that's fine.
That tonal shift is important.
But it is really important. So make your jokes, but then be like, but you can tell my character's skin looks real pale. Or, you know, maybe you've never interacted with a dead body before, and maybe the smell is getting to you. Try to live in that moment and react accordingly. It'll make for a richer story, in my opinion. And in that same moment, I would say, don't hesitate to give them some humanity loss from the mental trauma table. There is a traumatic mental incident for witnessing a particularly horrific death or mutilation, etc. And this building is full of this. Okay,
this is that.
It's 1d6. It's only 1d6 humanity loss, so it's not that bad. And I don't often reference the Edrunner's mission kit because that's for 2077. But in that kit, there's a humanity gain table that I love for long-term and like short-term things. After the mission, if the crew's like, we need to do some bonding or some lighthearted partying to kind of feel better, or talk about this, give them that moment to regain that humanity.
Right.
You know? For sure. Other things I noticed, the turrets, if you don't have a netrunner, you can unplug them. There are cables that run to them. I assume if you unplug them, they don't have the power to shoot. Also, if you're looking for HP, it's at the back of the book. if you have to take them down manually, their HP is listed at the back of the book. There is a stat block for them. Finally, Lord Ruthven is absolutely... Yes?
I was saying hi to chat.
Lord Ruthven is no joke. He is... No, he's only, like... I think he's a Reddick 4 medtech, so he should be on par with your crew members. It is 4 against 1, which is fine. But he has a Kreznikov, a Pain Editor, Tech upgraded subdermal armor, so his SP is 12. He has a move of 8, which means chances are he can catch you faster than you can flee that building. He has excellent quality, because they've been tech upgraded, Wolvers, which counts as a melee weapon that does 3d6 times 2, which ignores half your SP, and he has a base 18. And because they're excellent quality, that gets +1, so he is attacking you with a base 19 melee. Twice around.
No joke.
Ignoring half your armor. He also has a Pain Editor, so when you hit him, he's not going to suffer any wound effects. And because, depending on how it's gone, if it's gone according to the mission, you have fought the Clown and the Mook at the entranceway, plus some mooks. You have then fought the turrets downstairs, so chances are you're not fully geared, possibly not fully healed either. I have heard stories that people have TPK'd in this fight. Or gotten really close to TPKs.
Sorry, I was reading chat. There's lots of interesting
Go
things.
ahead. Yeah, no, read them out loud, please, because my screen is dying and it's hard for me to read.
Heroic said that Lord Ruffin kicked their ass. And then it was mentioned that friends who primarily play Vampire the Masquerade would lose their minds over this. I can easily see how it can be tweaked to be cheeky as hell.
Yes, it's actually, it's both. It's part cheeky, part very serious and scary.
Yeah. Heroic said, did you mention the +1 SP subdermal armor because it effed us up?
Yep, I did.
It took like 4 rounds to do any damage to him.
Yes, I did. And if you look at the map too, for that particular fight, it's not the biggest map, which means chances are
range is not your friend.
Range is not your friend. He is really good. He doesn't have range, but he can cross that distance no matter what. Like, you're gonna be fucked. So unless you're using a melee, but melee ignores half SP, so you only have to get through 6 at that point. So that's a lot easier.
Yeah.
Right? Because then you can start taking it down by 1, but if you're all ranged and bullets and you can't make those ranged shots, it's going to be a really hard fight. And I have heard that this is a very, very difficult fight. And for the first mission in the book, and this is why I don't necessarily agree with the mission and setup, and this being the first one, it's like camp, complicated fight, death. Like, it goes from real easy to deadly so quickly.
Right.
And when you're starting out, if you did this mission as the very first mission off character generation, I would say chances are you're going to die.
I actually have other reasons why I disagree with this being the first mission, but I completely agree with you.
Oh, go ahead.
We'll get to it when we get to mine. Okay. But the setup for both are very similar. And so if you're doing these in order, your players just got done with this and then move on to mine, which I'll talk about. They're going to be like, I don't know.
The last thing I want to mention, just as kind of my thoughts on this one too, is that once it's over, they've hopefully won. Make sure that you, in your scream sheets and your news reports that are kind of coming out in the following weeks, especially if you're a media who's picking up on rumors, mention that the NCPD are able to focus more on their cases because that spike in gang activity is down. Because obviously Lord Ruthven, who has been doing torture therapy to convert inquisitors and bozos to his syndicate, was the problem. So that has, decreased. Mention that there's that psychology professor Hunfer from NCU has gone missing, and or the NCU is looking for a new professor of psychology. Small story segments that they don't just flesh out the world, which they absolutely do, but they also keep calling back to those missions for Edge runners. We're like, oh, this is how the world is changing based on what we did. It's really, really cool. So don't forget that. Yeah. Try to add that in to the end.
Another point to why not to start with this one, and I'm sorry I'm harping on this, but I just keep thinking of more of them, is that, like, assuming this is the second mission you run, right? Mm-hmm. Let's say you start with the jumpstart and you do the apartment, right? And then you're like, well, we want to keep playing, so you do this.
Yeah.
They've stated they don't want, like, the tarot deck makes the world too deadly, too messy for them. This last combat is intense and messy.
Yeah.
And, like, I get that you're, like, really punching in that, like, no, you live in a dark world and things are dark and messy. But I feel like if this was one of the first missions you played, you'd have a very different opinion on Cyberpunk RED than you would otherwise.
I think it hits that dark tone too fast. Like, way too fast is the first mission.
Put this towards the end of the book.
I don't know that I would put it towards the end. But we're only going to cover the first 3 missions. I think of these 3, I would put it as the third.
Yeah.
Is where I would.
That makes sense.
Where I would align it. But yeah, so those were my notes for A Night at the Opera. Be careful, enjoy it, have fun with the camp in the first half.
It's cool.
And then hard swap, and even as players, guys, you're telling a story together with the GM. Appreciate that tonal shift. Help create that. Oh fuck, things, that bad boys line shit just got real. Play that hard.
So I suppose that means we're moving on to Agents of Desire, which is a lot more lighthearted, I would suppose. So the mission starts with you get contacted by Rogue, who invites you to come down, and she has a mission for you. The mission, you were told, is that a very rich exec that works, I just forgot the name of the company he works for no reason, who works for Ziggurat. His fiance was kidnapped, and he is willing to pay you $1,000 per person to find and return her. So once again, we're dealing with kidnapping, and that's part of why I'm like, if you did these back to back. Your character can ask her questions. She doesn't have a lot of information other than, the guy's location. His name is Cody, and that he was out to dinner at, I cannot remember the name of the restaurant now.
La Lune Bleu? Was that
La Lune Bleu, with his fiance, and that he got up to go to the bathroom, and when he came back, she was gone, and he has heard rumors of gang activity in the area. That's pretty much all that she can tell you, but she does give you his contact information. And so you have a few options of where to go from here. First, you could go directly to the restaurant, which is a giant mistake, but I'll discuss that in a second. Or you can go talk to the fiance. You can go talk to Kodai, who is in his apartment, and he is willing to tell you basically anything you ask. They've been together for a while. They're getting married in the fall. He works for Ziggurat. They both used to work for Arasaka as corpse, but that didn't really work out. So he got a new job at Ziggurat, and yeah, they're gonna get married. He went to the bathroom and he came back. She was gone. Nobody was willing to help him. They all said that they hadn't seen her and they weren't paying enough attention. And he is willing to pay any ransom for you to save her. While you're talking to him, he gets a call from her, saying that she is able to contact him because she can have it call his agent, use voice commands to have to call his agent, and that she's scared and she doesn't know where she is. She's locked in a dark room, and she doesn't really have a lot of information. But yeah, that happens while you're there. He is more than willing to give you his phone as a way to stay motivated, honestly, because it says if ever the players aren't moving forward, this whole thing is like fairly quick. Yours had time built in for them to heal and like do stuff. This says like if they're ever slowing down, send a message from her that's like, I'm in so much pain, or I'm not sure I can handle this, and, like just like keep harping on them while they're doing stuff.
The executive's daughter, you can like, it's like a week, it's cool, she be fine. This one, no, like 24 hours you have.
Right. But, so, let's say that you go to the restaurant first, or no matter what, when you end up at the restaurant, if you call, you're going to be much more successful because Maurice, what's the guy's name that's at the front of the restaurant?
Maitre d'?
The maitre d'. Maurice cannot see what you look like over the phone, so he's much more cooperative. But if you ask anything about wanting to see their security cameras or anything like that, he will wave you off and tell you that they don't have any problems and that there's no reason for you to need to see that information. And he is quite sure of it. If you show up in person, however, we are given options based on what you're wearing.
Nice.
If you're in business or high fashion, he's willing to seat you, but he only has a table for 2, and the rest of you are going to have to wait. He is willing to talk to you briefly while he is seating you, and still not willing to give you literally any information. Like, even at the harder checks, he just, like, passes it off.
Yeah, this is a high-class restaurant where security is important. Of course, there's no problem. You're a nobody. Go away.
Yeah.
That's how it should be.
If you're in Urban Flash, he's like, oh, did the Red Crustacean close early? And he's like, go find somewhere else to eat.
Did Red Lobster close early? Oh my god, that's brilliant.
If you're wearing literally anything else, he tells you trash pickup is tomorrow, and you need to be showing up at the service entrance, not the front door.
I feel like Asia Pop is equivalent to Urban Flash because they are the same price, and I'm very offended that Asia Pop is put in the same category as Trash Lady Chic or whatever it is.
Right. Bag Lady Chic.
Bag Lady Chic, yeah.
If your characters do a little bit of research, they will find out that the restaurant had hired recently. They had an opening for servers, and then a week later reposted that ad after they took it down. So they can hear through rumors in different places that there's a gang that hit the restaurant by getting jobs as servers and bussers, and were stealing high-priced items from rich people, and that they can deduce from those 2 pieces of information that the gang infiltrated, stole stuff, and then quit, probably, or got fired. But, I mean, if they don't find it that way, there's plenty of other ways they can get it. However, if the team tries to break into the restaurant, that goes very poorly. The guards are not willing to shoot you directly in front of the clientele, but they are beefy and will happily escort you out before they shoot you. But NCPD gets called immediately, and because this restaurant has money, they arrive much faster than they otherwise would. So that's another thing to deal with. So going that direction, not great. You have the option of trying to get hired as servers, and to do that, you have to pass an acting check, first of all, to get the job. And then once you have the job, you can hear the rumors of the gang infiltrating and blah, 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 blah. But at some point, somebody slips a phone into your pocket, and if you see who did it, they start screaming that you're stealing from the guests and that you're one of the thieves. If you don't catch it, then you don't figure that part out, but you eventually still get caught because they find the phone in your things, and you are escorted out and summarily fired because you're a thief. So you can get small pieces of information by doing it that way, but...
Does it say that there's any way of getting information from the restaurant?
No, like even the high checks, so you can break in and try to hack their system.
Yeah.
Which is the easiest way to do it, and you can get their film footage. If you happen to see their footage, this is one of two ways that you can get that footage. You see him walk in, and then sit down, order 2 glasses of wine, sit there for a little while and leave. And for some reason, it says that the character should assume that the thieves edited her out of the footage, which I don't know how to sell that to your players. Like, yes, these thieves that were just here to steal shit also took the time to remove her from the footage.
Well, she's been kidnapped.
Right.
Clearly they haven't named the kidnapper.
One of the kidnapper things, it's like, I didn't see anything because I was, a bag was placed over me and now I'm in a dark room and all I can hear are computers. But yeah, so I don't know. That seems like a really hard point to try to sell them on, that she's been removed from the footage. But that's what they see if they are able to see it. They aren't able to get any other information. If they can convince him to talk about it at all, he will say that he did not see the fiance. And that's all he is willing to divulge.
I would say, as a GM, if you are a GM, because there are roles that are suited to this, despite what you're wearing, right? If you are a media, I mean, I would say you'd probably have to be a media of a certain rank and probably still be dressed appropriately to try to pass off as, I will do a review, or I have an in with this reviewer who will review the restaurant, especially if you've picked up on the fact that the gang got hit or the employees are looking for new employees or whatever, to kind of try to boost the publicity.
Yeah.
You know, or that might be a way where you're like, I will, if I do this for you, will you give me the footage? Like that's, and as a GM, I would reward it if you can pull it off. That's going to take a persuade or an actual someone like coming down, and your media credibility is going to have to be fairly high to do this, or your reputation.
Yeah, to pull this off.
Alternatively, if you have a lawman in the party, because there's not a lot of lawmen around, wearing their NCPD uniform,
right,
and walking in demanding security footage is probably a legit way to go.
Oh yeah.
Still, it's still going to be a high check, especially if they're like, well, do you have a warrant? Do you have the paper? Because they are high class enough where they can demand that kind of thing and know that that's the proper protocol, and you're not just going to start punching people.
Right.
Like you could get around with a red crustacean, you could probably just punch them out. So I would say if your players think of like creative solutions to try to get around that, or using their roll ability,
give it to them.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's always
still a skill check, but that was brilliant. Reward that.
Right. So the young lady who places the phone in your pocket, if you're infiltrating that way, her name is, what is it? Jane Gatsby. It's not easy to catch her. If you choose to catch her and try to take her out with you, you're going to be dealing with the security guards and bouncers. If they do call the police, security operatives, which is the number of crew plus 2, are going to show up in 3 rounds. But if somehow you can keep a hold of her, you'll find out the information that she was part of the high-class heist crew, which is the name of the gang of college students who has done this, and that she was left in place to look for the next big score for them when the rest of them left. So she's full of all kinds of great information, but not easy to get to. Your other options are that you can break into Kodai's apartment when he is at work and search through it. And there is a whole bunch, there's a whole floor plan in here of different rooms that they can search and things that they can find in literally every room. They can find pictures of the fiance, that are just her. You assume that Kodai took the photo, so they're just her happy and smiling in various places. You can find the recording that we discussed before. In the bathrooms, you can find that there's products for both of them, hygienic products, shampoos, toothpaste, stuff like that. If you go into the kitchen, in the refrigerator, there's food that says like ice, leftovers, don't touch, and stuff like that. So basically going through all the different rooms that you see evidence that she was here, but the footage shows you that he was alone in the restaurant. Unless, of course, you assume that she's just been edited out of it. And then you have, if they want to confront him about him being alone in the restaurant, he is not willing to listen to you and is willing to kick you out and is very grumpy. There is a check that you can make later. It doesn't say you can do it at this part, so I suppose if you tried to do it at this part, it would be very difficult, but to convince him that he was alone, which, is not a good deal. You can call him and he'll immediately be like, oh, you have information about her, but the moment that you're like, yeah, the information is that you were alone, it's not bad. It's not good. You can find out in a couple of different ways. One way is breaking into his apartment. Another way is through rumors that he has a contact named Lamarche, who is Lotus Lamarche, who used to also work for Arasaka and had owed him a favor. Tracking down that lead, if you are able to find Mr. Lamarche, he lives in a very nice apartment and is not willing to let you in initially. That is a high skill check to try to get him to let you in. If you do it the straightforward way, which is the much better way of the two, he can be convinced, but it is not easy, and you can talk it out with him. Or if you're breaking in, it is a DV21 sec check to try to break into his house, and then he has drones in his apartment that are defending him. But if you can, through human perception and persuasion, convince him to tell you what's going on, he explains to you the plot of what's actually happening this entire time. Kodai was engaged to Aisha. Aisha, I think that's her name. Anyway, and they were very happy. And then she stopped being so happy, and Lamarche owed Kodai a favor. At the same time, he's going cyber psycho. So he uses his connections to soul kill her and create an AI program for his agent that is her. And because of the cyber psychosis, he's convinced that not only is she still alive, but their wedding is coming up soon. And so to him, it is all very real, but he in the process murdered her to create this AI.
What a twist.
And so you've been looking for his agent this entire time, which, if you go back to the footage, was picked up when they dropped off a new bread basket as soon as he went to the bathroom. If you were able to get Jane, you can find out directly where they're at in the college district. Otherwise, you kind of have to track down where the phone is and things like that, which you can do. In other ways, it's all laid out here. But you can go in, you can talk your way through not fighting this gang to get the phone, because they have very little interest in fighting you. They're literally just college students who are thieves. You can fight them also if you want to. You use the booster ganger stat block, and they're not that hard to beat. But ultimately you find the agent is on a desk and has been cloned. So now for resolution, you have several options. You can give the phone to the NCPD and explain what happened, that Kodai had murdered her and what's going on. in which he will be arrested and things will go poorly for him. You can say nothing and give him his phone back, and he will happily hug this ghost woman and give you your 1,000 EB apiece, and it's a happy, touching story, but the murder goes unsolved. Or, through very difficult means, you can try to convince him that he has gone crazy. If you're a medtech, it's only a DV-17 to try to break through his mental fog. If you're anybody else, it's a DV-29 to try to break through his mental fog and convince him what's going on. If you can convince him of this, then he will turn himself in to the police and go through a program and stuff like that, but you'll still get paid. If either you return the phone without saying anything or you convince him to turn himself in, Rogue will say, "Oh, I'm super impressed. You guys did a great job. I'll definitely work with you in the future." And she'll send you jobs down the road that she thinks are your speed. If you just turn him into the police, you don't get paid, and Rogue is a little grumpy about the situation. Yeah, there are a couple of net architectures in here, like for Laloon Blue, if you're trying to break into it that way, and for Kodai's Condap. None of these are difficult. I'm going to go ahead and say it. Kodai's is slightly harder, which is, given his job, you would think that it would be difficult, but he literally has one demon and one black ice, and that's it.
Dude, the turrets have more than that.
You also have stat blocks for both Jane and Kodai in here. Neither are like truly a pushover, but neither are really all that anything either. So, ultimately, I love the twist that's in this one. That she has just been AI the whole time, because I love the fact that you're supposed to needle them if they're not working fast enough. Like, have her send things like, "I'm scared. Did you forget about me, Kodai?" Things like that, just to keep them going. But I think if you were doing this directly after the last one, in which you were hired under the assumption that it was a kidnapping and then blah 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 blah, this one, first of all, is much lighter toned.
Much.
And I would argue, there's a lot of checks and a lot of detective work that goes on, but I would argue this is an easier mission overall.
100%. I'm
not sure this makes sense as being the follow-up to the previous mission.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Also, Heroic said that he figured out the twist early on, but because of the name, name gave it away. In which case, I would call her Aisha the entire time.
Yeah, and never call her I.
Never call her I. I mean, you can have Coda do it, here and there. Where,
right.
It's like Aisha, and he's like, "Oh, I miss eyes," or whatever, as kind of a pet name, and people will, because you always shorten names, right? So they probably wouldn't think anything of it, so long as Aisha is the primary name that you use the whole time.
Yeah,
it can help keep that hidden.
I is literally capital A, lowercase I, so if they see this written out or anything, they're going to go, AI.
Uh-huh.
So that was something, even in the reading of this, that I had to decide to myself how I was going to handle, because if I just called her AI, it would give it away in the first sentence. So I also like that you go to Forlorn Hope and you meet Rogue and all that. She's like, "Yeah, I would meet you at Afterlife, but that's where I take serious runners, and you're not there yet. So, but this gives you a really good contact. This also brings you to the Forlorn Hope. So I feel like it opens up a lot."
For note takers, because I'm a note taker as well, I absolutely would have asked Blank, how do you spell that? So Aisha gets you through that. That keeps it a little more secretive. Yeah. Anything else you want to comment on that you noticed during the story?
Not really. I liked it. It's a fun story. It's very light, and you would probably get through it pretty quickly. It would make a good one shot. Yours, I don't think. I think yours is a couple of sessions, this one I could see you doing in an evening, you know? So I like it. It's a good, fun story. That's all.
Some things I noted, other than, you know, calling them Aisha the entire time.
Right.
And I meant to bring this up during my mission too, is like, what happens if the crew decides to walk away? So like in that final battle, if Ruthven is too dangerous and they are dying and they decide to leave the chapel, what do you as a GM do? Because that is not covered in the book. Like, he will chase you, but how far is he going to chase you? If you have no men in your crew and you get in a car and you drive off, he doesn't have a vehicle. So you're probably good there. And then
I would say,
what happens?
Unless you cross paths with him, then it's just a dead end.
I would say chances are, like, Lucy's definitely dead. If you try to go back.
Yeah.
You know, so that's very difficult, and kind of in the same way of that, what happens if when they try to tell Cody that they've figured out it's an AI and he just gets belligerent because he's cyber psycho, and they decide to walk, and they call Rogue and they're like, dude, this is what's going on. She's a fucking AI program and he won't listen. What do you as the GM do?
The job. I think she'd tell you to do
then
the
go
job.
Get the phone.
Yeah,
don't deal with him, just go get the phone, bring it to me.
It seems a lot easier to go get a phone than a person.
And then you bring it to her and she delivers it?
Yeah. That's what I would do, personally.
That's fair.
Because her general attitude on the thing, especially because at the beginning, I didn't go over it, but there's a list of like questions that you could ask her about, like, hey, can we get money up front and stuff like that. And like, one of them's like, I'm not going to do the job for you. This is your job. Like, her general attitude is like, duh.
Yeah. I will say, at least for like one night at the opera, because it's 2,000 that, you know, the master is paying you. They do give you 500 each up front.
Yeah. So the only money you can get up front, she's like, he paid me $1,000 finder fee to find you guys, so I'm willing to give you my $1,000, but you have to repay it at the end.
Yeah, that tracks for Rogue. I also, I would put this one first, and then honestly, if you are combining the Tales of the Red stories, even adding the first mission for Hope Reborn, Tales of the Red Hope Reborn, shortly after this one, makes a lot of sense, because they now have a connection to the Forlorn Hope that they didn't have before. I know Rogue gives them the mission, but I'm sure they meet Marianne, because Marianne is listed in the biography, so I'm sure she's there. So when she calls them and asks for, you know, more help, there's already an established connection.
Yeah, so that would work out fine.
Yeah. Plus, it gives them some IP and some experience before running cold. Still not enough for Night at the Opera, if it's my personal opinion. But yeah, those were the only things I kind of noticed is what would happen. So
yeah, there's a little
Rogue
bit of combat you
easier.
could possibly get into in this, but this is not a combat heavy mission, which I appreciate, and that's good for starting characters.
Yeah.
Unless they're murder hobos, and then the situation will get out of hand no matter what. So.
Yeah.
Let D&D players who are coming into this the first time know, murder hoboing is not how to live in the dark future.
That's
it's not an accessible social talent.
All right. And the final mission is a bucket full. Yes.
I was gonna say, another way that you can get them where you need them to go would be to talk about them finding something about the body that was found in the landfill of Aisha, if they like search for her and stuff like that. That's another way to like try to pull them along if they're going the wrong direction.
If they're struggling. And I mean, if you want to hide it, like change the security footage or amend it or make it harder to DV, or just downplay the restaurant stuff if you really, really want. Totally up to you.
Alright, sorry, go ahead.
Cool. The third mission in the book is a bucket full of popcorn flavored kibble. This one, again, is not combat oriented. So again, I feel like it is a much better mission to start with before you get into A Night at the Opera. This mission is actually a series of small gigs kind of rolled into one, with payment being spread throughout the entire mission, should the end runners be interested in helping out around the set. And that was the big thing with this one. It's like, if they want to, there's a lot that they could just completely skip in this. So do keep that in mind. Overall, the crew is being auditioned, not really, they get hired real quick, to play extras in an upcoming Senate Sisters film, The Parisian Hostess. Now, the Senate Sisters are genre-busting Addis Wood directors with 16 blockbuster flicks to their credit, meaning the edge runners do know who they are by name. Their movies are super popular in Africa and for the high riders. So if any of your edge runners have interest in that, they definitely know. Again, the biographies at the back of the book for a lot of these people will help if any library searching is done. Now, one of their kind of boons is that the Senate Sisters hires any extras that they need locally. They don't fly them in to on-set location. If they're at the location, those are the extras they use. So the crews, either if they have a friendly fixer, not like a fixer in the crew, but if they know a fixer contact, or if they have another friendly contact, that's the person who brings the crew into the audition. The first step they need to do is secure a spot as an extra, which again is it's as much as like show up. But you are given time to find, the right clothes, update your fashion wear, anything else, because essentially what they're looking for is genuine Night City flavor. They don't tell you what that is. Whatever you think genuine Night City flavor means, let them have fun with it. Let them go shopping. Let them buy clothes. Ask them for wardrobe style checks. Ask them for personal grooming checks. Ask them to describe what their character is wearing. Make notes if anything went really, really well, or anything that you really, really liked. When they're ready, they get to go to the audition, and the hurdle here is a rival edge runner crew, I say with quotes, who couldn't get an official audition because you are given a key card that identifies you as like actually having a spot. And they just want to take your crew's place because Russell figures one edge running crew is just as good as another one. So he sets up super easy to avoid ambush to take over an unsuspecting crew. He's the only one with an actual stat block, otherwise you're using booster ganger stat blocks, so this isn't like by any means a rival edge runner crew that you would find in Danger Gal dossier. Like, this is just some guy who's like, I can take your place. I'm gonna try. He will fail. He does fire a warning shot. If there is a fight, they will run away after like a serious hit or two. They're not going to stick around. But you can use a face down to tell him to back off. You can succeed with not a super difficult bribery or persuasion skill check. Or because the ambush is super easy to see, I think it's like a 13 perception, you could just walk around and take a different route and never encounter the ambush at all, if that floats your boat. Now the audition is pretty much a meet and greet. They meet the Senate Sisters on screen. They're not actually on location. They do a little turn. I want to say on the catwalk, but there's technically no catwalk. The screen goes black. They, talk amongst themselves, come back on. They're like, yes, you're what we want. As a GM, if someone made a really good roll, I would have one of the Senate Sisters comment on that person specifically. If someone was really excited about their wardrobe and put a lot of detail into it, comment on a piece of that wardrobe specifically. Just make them feel like that montage at the start, if they put in the roleplay effort, is rewarded. I know a lot of people are just like, yeah, we'll go bull night in new clothes. And that's it. And they're good. And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But if
we have
does
entire shopping episodes.
We're bad. I'm bad. Specifically, my wardrobe know exactly what we're wearing. I have pictures. So just, kind of throw them a bone because again, there's no skill check. There's no nothing. It doesn't matter what they scored. They're just like, yep, you're what we're looking for. They will hire you for 2 days. Pay is 200 ebb a day. And then they send you over to Laser for costume measurements. And Laser's a little more kind of savvy, and he can tell that you guys are a little bit more legit than just your average day citizen trying to get this gig. So he mentions that catering could use some help if you want some extra money and get better food while on set. And that should be enough to motivate your crew, especially if this is like an intro mission or a mission where maybe they didn't have as much money.
Rent.
Yeah, and they're kind of on Kibble or something, and they're like, man, I could use some good food right now. This is the perfect time to kind of like have this mission. At which case you're sent to go see Cookie at the on-site catering that's been set up in Rancho Coronado. However, once you leave the audition, the crew is swarmed by teens and tweens who claim to be a huge Etten Sim fan. He is the lead actor. He is like the next Cary Grant, is what they've claimed. And they want a copy of the script so that they can read the lines with him on opening night of this movie premiere. They also will know a real script from a fake, but they've pooled their money and have 376 euro dollars that they will give you on delivery of a real script, if you want to take that offer. Whether you agree or decline, they're not going to do anything. You continue on your way to see Cookie, whose job is one of a massive headache due to the leading lady having specific dietary needs, wants. And Cookie doesn't have the contacts here in Night City to get them. If the crew can obtain suppliers, they don't have to do any purchasing. Cookie will handle that. She will pay them 100 ebb finder's fee for every item on the list for a total of 400. And she will upgrade them to the actors catering list instead of the extras catering list, which is significantly better. What the list is like: berry yogurt fruit parfait for breakfast. She's got this list from the leading lady, right? Grilled fish and steamed vegetables for lunch, vegan juice cleansed smoothies for dinner, and a vegetarian faux charcuterie and cheese for in-between scene snacks. Okay, the game mentions this is where anyone who is an exec, so if you have a corporate background, or if you have a nomad background, or some guerrilla contact, you can really shine. Use those contacts that you have in your friends pool, or whatever you're doing. Corporates would have the ingredients. They would love to be a sponsor. Nomads have access because of their roots. Also, if the crew comes up with something clever and plausible, do your best to encourage it. Just note, because there is a list of places the crew can go, but each list kind of comes with a complication, and that complication could be nothing more than like, please help me clean out this grow room. Like one is at Nana Meow's nursery, and you have to help clean out a grow room. And then she'll help provide the ingredients. So it doesn't have to be anything big or scary or difficult. It's just kind of like there should be a thing. There should be a reason more than just, hey, can you do this? So if the crew agrees and they're successful, Cookie will pay them 400 Eurobucks and hooks them up with premium rations. This will raise the lifestyle to fresh food for the month for food-related objects only. So the rest of your lifestyle package is still whatever it was, but your food is at fresh food level for the month.
Which is awesome.
Huge. That's a huge bonus. Also, while the crew is kind of out and about running around with these gigs, it may be the perfect time to add the optional development that introduces the sleazy Marcus Malarkey Bornholm, who is the Night City gossip blogger and paparazzi-in-chief. Malarkey is a media rank 5 with a reputation of 4. So if your players want to roll to see if they know who he is, by all means go ahead. If they follow gossip stories, like if they're a media that's always on like fashion blogs and gossip rags or whatever, they would know his name. I wouldn't even make them roll for it. The Malarkey offers the crew 500 ebb to plant a low-profile audio bug in Etten's trailer, so the leading male trailer. Since they're on set anyway, why not? If the crew refuses, he just makes this comment saying he's offered it to other people and when they want to be first and earn the money, but if the crew says no, he will not push. But that is another option for them to make some cash if they want. So, and I would do that personally. I would, because he just kind of rolls up, like his bodyguard shows up and is like, someone wants to talk to you. He's in an SUV. So while your crew is running errands, that's where I would have Malarkey kind of intercept them. But then they would finish the gig, talk to Cookie, and she sends them to see Buck, who works in special effects. He's got the Midwestern accent. He is tall. He wears flannel. He is wonderful. I adore Buck. He has built a prosthetic arm that contains a puppet cyber snake, and he needs help fine-tuning it to look real. If you have a tech in the crew or someone who has seen or used a cyber snake in order, like, they will succeed in the check. They will help him make it look. It works really, really well, and you can even, you guys can test it on a keyboard. I think it's a DV17 that gives a variety of text where you can just destroy things that he has in front of the snake to see how it works, just for funsies. Like, go demolish stuff. It's fine. And something you can tell something is off. But if you don't have those options, you would have to persuade someone to come and test, or come up with your own alternative. Again, let the players be creative. Let them come up with things. If they can help, Buck will pay them a $250 consulting fee. Once they leave his warehouse, the special effects warehouse, they are approached by Etton's personal assistant, who invites them to Etton's trailer at 8 p.m. because he has a request to make of them. He's heard how they've been helping out around the studio, helping Cookie and whatnot, and so has requested your help. If the crew does not want to speak to him, they just don't have to show up. It's as simple as that. They have a 10-minute window where they will be able to gain access to his trailer. After that, it's gone. They assume it's a no. So if the crew shows up and requests a rather heartwarming, his request is rather heartwarming. He has split from his marriage dissolved. He is now divorced because he went on a alcoholic-infused infidelity run, and he put his partner through a lot. And as he was going through his things, he found a box of ceramic plates that his ex's Daryl, that Daryl's mother had made them as kind of like a wedding gift, and it goes with the whole set. And Daryl has the rest of the set, he just doesn't have the plates. And Daryl's mother died a year after she made them. And Etton doesn't feel that he deserves to keep them. And since Daryl has blocked his number, obviously, for obvious reasons, Etton's very, you can tell he feels really bad. He's sober, he's clean, he's trying to do his best. It doesn't judge Daryl at all, but he's like, yeah, he's blocked my number, so I can't talk to him. So if you could talk to him, that'd be great. And if you could please deliver these plates to him, I will pay you 500 ebb and another 500 hazard pay in case Daryl's still angry. Daryl is still angry. Not to the point where he's going to shoot you guys, but Daryl is still very angry.
Not happy.
Yeah, no. He gives you Daryl's number. He gives you kind of a code phrase so that Daryl will talk to you. At least for you to say, this is why we're calling. We have these things we want to deliver. At which point he will invite you to his house. Before you leave on that, because you're in Etton's trailer, or Ethan. It's not Ethan. I keep wanting to say Ethan. It's not Ethan. Ethan? Etton? I don't know. You could plant Malarkey's bug if you wanted to do that. There's also a copy of the script on the table, though that is much harder to steal, for the fangirls. Stealing the script is a DV17 stealth check. Planting the bug is a DV13. He's not looking for people to plant bugs in his apartment, but because he is constantly reviewing the script, he is aware where it is, and that is a much harder thing to steal. It is a stealth check. And I question why not conceal reveal, but you're not concealing on your person, you're trying to take it off of a surface without him noticing, so stealth makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
But those are the two, probably the point to do those two things, if the crew chooses to. You don't have to do either, of course, and then it's on to Daryl's house with a box of very fragile ceramic plates. Daryl is a solo. He has a rough charm to him. So he is kind of very brusque with the crew. He is holding a pistol. When you talk to him, he's angry about paparazzi. It's very clear. He's kind of on edge. He's kind of done with fame. He's not happy, but he appreciates what you're doing. But the minute kind of like that you enter on the porch for him to have that introduction, Malarkey appears at the gate and starts hurling insults. And Daryl raises his gun, doesn't fire it. And that's kind of where like the next problem is. Your crew could fight Malarkey if they absolutely wanted to. They could let Daryl shoot him, which isn't going to go well because then he'll be charged for murder, and that will be bad for him. That'll be bad for Etten, and that will be bad for everyone. It's also in a really nice neighborhood, so police is very around. So that could be a problem. Not to mention that one of your edge runners is holding a box of ceramic plates that cannot be damaged.
Yeah, that would be a bad deal there.
That would be a real bad deal. There are some ways they suggest to de-escalate the situation. The way I enjoyed the most was to record Malarkey, like do a flip the script, because he's recording, he's always recording. It's one of his eyes. But if you record him kind of harassing Daryl and upload it to your garden patch, his viewers will turn on him so quickly. And it's not, he doesn't get to have the story that he wants to tell. It's no, this is what really happened. If you let him just go, though, he will edit it to do whatever he wants to do. So you do have to deal with Malarkey in some way that's hopefully beneficial to all without destroying the plates. If they succeed, Daryl invites them in, accepts the plates, and tells them that he owes them a favor. He gives them the business card, a personal number, and then once the crew leaves, they receive payment from Etten shortly thereafter. And at this point, all your side gigs are done. And it's on to like the 2 days of filming as extras. You can do a time skip, but depending on what the crew did, things could change. If the crew stole the script and handed it over to the, because it's Etten Sim, so they call themselves the Sim Wives, handed it over to the Sim Wives, they leak spoilers all over the place. They did not just hold it to...
Right, obviously.
Obviously. So security has ramped up considerably. If the crew bugged the trailer, shockingly, Malarkey does not pay the crew. That doesn't mean that they can't go and harass him and try to get the money out of him. Also, in that confrontation, technically, if you did decide to bug the trailer, you don't want him to, because then he's not going to pay you, even though he had no intention anyway, but the players don't know that. If the crew did both dirty deeds, security is extra tight, and due to their security sweep that puts the crew at the trailer before the bug turned up, their contracts are rendered null and void. Their invitation to be extras is rescinded, and they will be removed from the site of filming forcibly if necessary. So you will not get that payment. You will not get to do the gig.
You'll end up with nothing.
You end up with nothing. Other than the money you already made. Now,
Right.
If the crew only did one of those things, or neither, they get to participate in the filming. And when the shoot is done, every player can roll a d10. They can use any luck if they want. If they get a 6 or higher, they are visible in the film. Like, to the point where you could probably get yourself a free drink. Be like, did you see that movie? That's me in that scene. If the crew helped Cookie, Buck, and Etten and did not do either of those two dastardly deeds, they also get a gift basket from the Senate Sisters that includes real Ethiopian coffee beans and crew-only coffee mugs with the production company logo on it. There's enough coffee there that will net you 500 ebb at a night market, if they choose to sell it. Included also is a calling card to work with their local producer, Jury McCullough, who might have more movie-related work for the crew to help in the future if you want. So overall, the crew should earn 800 ebb apiece, plus any bonuses from either selling the script or selling the coffee, for this gig, which takes place over about a week. So that gives you 3 more weeks to do side hustles, or Agents of Desire, if you wanted to do that as like a second follow-up mission. You know, and that might be nice because this one is very fun, very kind of like fetch questy, I would even say. There's not a lot of combat. Agents of Desire could have combat. There's the promise of could combat, so it kind of ramps things up a little bit. And then if they're really itching for combat, a night at the opera, and then they won't be itching for combat because they're like, holy fuck, that was deadly, let's not do that again. So I think that's probably the order I would put it in. But because again, 800 for 1 week's work is not bad. They could hustle for the rest of the 3 weeks. You could do a one shot in there, deal with life story stuff, personal projects, until you're ready to move on to the next story of the book. Also, if you did this mission, sorry, these are my points on extras in the mission. Did you have anything to say about the mission itself before I jump off?
Nope, I'm here for the ride.
Okay. So if you did this story after Agents at the Opera, if that happened to go first, and you got the favor from Barbara Dahl, it's possible she could help you deal with Malarkey. She does owe you guys a favor, so I would say that that's a possible reason to, if you want to call that in. Also, a lot of DLCs have released since this mission book came out. Don't pass them up. For example, I was thinking about, when they were like, she needs a vegan fruit smoothie, you could probably get that at the 20, because the 20 is a juice bar that sells smoothies. So you're, that complication.
Great place to get it.
Yeah, that complication is maybe Breakfast has a song in the production the Cookie will deal with, some promo in the film, or maybe the crew will do some bouncer work for them one night in an upcoming week, because maybe they have a show going, they need more help or whatever, so you just do that kind of work. Or if you have a rocker boy, maybe they need an opening act for a weekend, or for, a night where it's like, do this, and yeah, sure, we'll help them out with the smoothies. So look through your new stuff and see if there's other ways to find those ingredients, because you never know.
Right.
There's a lot more detail about all the people in the biography sections. I think I mentioned that before. And also, if this mission takes place before Night at the Opera, which again, I would put this first, and then Agents of the Desire, and then Night at the Opera. But if it took place beforehand, and you have that favor from Daryl, who is a rank 6 solo, that owes you a favor, and you're about to go fight a cyber psycho, you could call in that favor and be like, hey, we're going up against the cyber psycho, can you help if necessary? And if the crew wants to take action, right, it's like, just wait outside, but if we call you, rush in, and he'll be there in like a turn or two. Otherwise, I would treat it like backup, where you could try to call him if things are going real south and just be like, we really need help. He's not going to get there, but I wouldn't say it would be unfeasible for him to say, I know some people who do work in the area, I'll get them to your location. And so roll that d6 to see how fast or how long it'll take them to converge onto the chapel, just like the lawman's backup roll ability. In which case that favor isn't Daryl himself, but it's still assistance coming to get you. And I feel like that is a real good use of that favor in a future story. That's
right. Well, and if you did this first and then Agents and then Night at the Opera, then you get an introduction to Cyber Psycho in a way that doesn't have to be confrontational, but gives you the healthy fear of cyber psychosis.
That's
so
true.
That when you start seeing it, you are like, oh my god.
Oh, this is the so much worse. This is so much worse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Also, I just realized if you did this first... No, that's a lie. Never mind. If you did Agents, or Night at the Opera before Agents of before this one, a bucket full of popcorn flavored kibble, and you had the favor from Barbara Dahl, she could, or no, before yours, Agents of Desire was right. She could possibly be your media contact to review La Lune Blue to get the security footage. That review would probably need to come out first in order for the maitre d' to be like, yeah, all right, this is legit. But don't, like, if you're a GM and your players have forgotten, don't hesitate to help them out if that's the route you want to go. I feel like for that one, the security footage isn't as important because it kind of ruins the twist. But yeah, I would do.
She could get you a table there.
She probably could, yeah. Personally, I would do this one, the movie one first, then Agents of Desire, especially since that's a low-key cyber psycho, and followed by A Night at the Opera. Yeah. So far.
I agree.
So far, this is the order I would put them in.
After we finish this, are we going to tier them for the order that we do them in?
I don't think tier, but yeah.
Anytime we do a scream sheet, we'll add it to when you would do it.
Definitely, yeah, we'll make a new list, yeah, of what order we feel that they should go into. Absolutely. And I was going to say, with yours and with mine, because yours takes place, over a day?
Yeah, more or less.
Mine takes place, it would say a span of a week, right? Because it's 2 days of filming. There's like a day that you're running around. You could probably stretch that out to 2. So more or less a week. If you wanted to add more of the Hope Reborn stuff, because that also isn't necessarily go. Like you have some down moments where you can do other things. These two I think would work really well together. Where these are more like one shots also, and then you kind of go back to that.
The way that Popcorn is organized, it kind of reminded me of some of the Halloween Scream Sheet stuff. Weirdly.
Thank you for reminding me of that. No, that's perfect, because I was thinking if you're doing this around Halloween and you do A Night at the Opera and then decide, and it just happens to coincide with October, or you do one of those missions, because the Sinful Atoms want you to help protect the festival, that's one of the missions, your crew could totally call up the master and be like, yo, I heard your Philharmonic vampires are gonna fuck up this carnival. Calling in my favor, I need you to not. And then just let them enjoy the festival. It'd be so fun. Just imagine how sad the vampires would be. They're so excited to prank the Sinful Atoms carnival, and the master's like, no.
You
not
don't
this
get to.
year. But the Atoms would be grateful. You've removed any sort of trace. I feel like that would be an even higher reward.
Yeah.
So thank you for bringing that up, because I did think about that. Yeah, you could do some, and I was thinking, because if we did it in the order that we suggested with Kibble, and then Agents of Desire, and then if you added a couple missions from Hope Reborn, since now that they know Marianne and Rogue or whatever, that would probably give you a good chunk of IP and gear that would make that fight with at the end of A Night at the Opera manageable. Less deadly, still scary, but manageable.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that doing it the way that Heroic said, they did a homebrew job and then a Halloween Scream Sheet and then Night at the Opera. Work into Night at the Opera.
Yeah. Even then, depending on how much IP and gear you got, it is likely rough. Real rough.
Right.
And that is actually one more thing I wanted to kind of stress with A Night at the Opera. While Ruthven is deadly, and he is, don't get me wrong, it's also deadly because of how much you have to get through in a short period of time. He wore you down with the lieutenants at the door. Then he wore you down with turrets. So if you have used ammo, you might need to refill if you didn't think to refill. If you used grenades, you don't have those grenades anymore. If you got wounded, those wound penalties still apply. Where he is fully fine. And I think that's a really good thing to remember as the GM, is that your big bad doesn't have to be scary. He doesn't have to be able to take on 4 edge runners if you have worn them down.
If what it took to get to them was difficult, they can be, hard mook.
Yeah.
And be
scary.
Still a lot to handle. Yeah.
No, he has a lot to handle anyway, but limiting that resource pool is huge. So.
Heroic said that the guys at the door lasted for 2 rounds. They used grenades. The turrets crippled their exec and ruined a ton of the cover.
Yeah. Yeah. The turrets are brutal.
Which, that all building up to now you're in a battle with somebody who is a badass.
Mm-hmm. And then, yeah, then you're out of grenades. And even if you use them as this fight, because it's not the biggest space, you might hit an ally. If you manage to get a grenade off without hitting an ally and destroying more cover, anything that's outside of the chapel, you also then have to spend all that money to buy back your gear. And
right.
Ammunition and grenades are not the cheapest.
Well, like an EMP would be great to use against him, but it would, because of the space, also be a problem for your people.
Microwaver, man.
It's true.
That's why you have microwave. Well, that's why I carry a microwaver. I'm trying to see if that would have actually worked. He has low light, infrared, and UV. What is? How is it? Cyber. Resist torture drugs? No. Resist torture drugs is for what? Smoke grenades and EMP or smoke grenades and flashbangs, right?
Yeah.
So that's a base 14. That's nothing to laugh at. What is it for EMP? Cybertech?
It is. No, it's a check the GM does against each piece of hardware.
No, it's not. I think it's Cybertech. And if
It
you
might be
fail, it's a RNG of 2 pieces of cyberware.
Yeah.
Nothing is hardened, but I want to say it's only like a DV15. He has a DV12 in Cybertech. Thank you, Heroic Cybertech for EMPs. He has a base 12.
So he needs to roll a 3.
Yeah, or lower.
Yeah.
He's rough. Like, he's scary.
Yeah.
He's scary.
And you're gonna, what, take out his eyes, maybe?
Maybe? I mean, he has a lot of cyberware. He's got his cyber eyes. He has a grafted muscle and bone lace. He has a neural link, 2 chipware sockets. Mind you, if you could take out one of the chipware sockets and remove his pain editor, that would not be bad. That would be handy. Subdermal armor is one of those weird ones. Same with his Wolvers, right? Like, his Wolvers, they're not excellent quality now, is probably how I would rule it. So he doesn't get a +1 to his base 18, well, like whoop-de-doo Basil. Like, that's not helpful.
And they're already out.
Yeah.
If they were not, if they were like not, if they were retracted, that might be different. But
yeah. You know, maybe the vial of biotoxin, if you happen to hit his vampires, it doesn't go off. It's just the vampire bite. But, like, there's not a lot, unless you can take out his eyes. There's not a lot that's going to help you. If you remember to carry a flashbang. A lot of people I know who carry grenades, flashbang is not up there on priority list.
Oh no, you disabled my left eye in subdermal armor.
Hey, left eye could be a depth perception thing. That could neutralize the +1 for excellent quality, man.
But make sure your players are ready for that combat.
Yeah, and that is one that will fight to the death. So it could be a TPK.
Yep.
So keep that in mind. Any final thoughts that we haven't already expressed?
No.
Right.
I look forward to talking about the rest of the missions in the book.
Cool. Well, thank you all for joining us today. That will conclude this episode of Night City Sofa. Be sure to leave a comment on which mission you'd most like to run, anything you've run as player or GM, anything that happened to you. If you fought Lord Ruthven, tell us how it went. I'm also curious to know if your players ever picked up on the fact that Lord Ruthven was the psychology professor at NCU. Otherwise, if you'd like to support Edgerunners HQ, one of the greatest things you could do, it's absolutely free, is head on over to YouTube, subscribe to the channel, and watch some videos like completely all the way through. You can turn the volume way down. I'm not sure if you can mute it or not, but having that watch time, having subscribers will allow us to get to a point where we can monetize the channel and actually start making some money, which helps us, you know, do this full time and pay bills and stuff. So that would be fantastic if you have some time and could hit that subscribe button, put a playlist on here or there. We would greatly appreciate it. It would mean so much. Otherwise, Night City Sofa will return next week to talk about the next 3 missions, which are Drummer and the Whale, Haven't Got a Stitch to Wear, and Reaping the Reaper. We're very excited to talk about those. So until next week, guys, meow for now.